before practice. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, on Saturday was a really good work day. I mean, we hit one of our highest workloads. I think it was actually our highest workload ever in full pads. Usually you have higher workloads without full pads on, so our guys brought good energy. I thought today it was just, defense early in practice, somewhat fake energy, right? Losing some reps. Offense at the end, that was the worst last 2 periods of offensive football I've seen in a long time. We couldn't snap the football with our 2s, 3s. I mean, we got to have another guy who can snap the football, and we have to be able to not jump off sides. I mean, we haven't had that problem here, knock on wood, since I've been here. Even when we sucked, we didn't have that problem. And we got to be able to clean that up, because that was the sloppy. That's going to lose us a lot of football games.
What have you thought about the transfer receivers?
Yeah, I think good. I think they're athletic. I think they're trying. I mean, they're day 5 in, and we are a mass install team. So we throw everything on the wall, and then you slowly, later in spring, we don't have nearly the install we have as opposed to the first 5 days. So I think here in weeks 3, 4, 5, you're going to see it kind of slow down for those guys a little bit. Because right now they're playing fast, but sometimes they're playing, all right, what step is this on? I think that's going to progress as fall camp or spring ball progresses.
When it comes to the running back position, in an ideal world, do you want one featured guy, or would you rather have a committee of guys that you can kind of rely on?
I mean, in an ideal world, whatever gives us the best chance to win. Sometimes that's ideal featured. Sometimes that's multiple people. I think there's pros and cons to both. So I don't really have an ideal situation there. Obviously, if you can get multiple guys involved and keep guys fresh, that's a strength. But what if the one guy's so good that he doesn't get tired? Well, then you're not trying to keep him fresh. You want to keep him the ball. So I think it's just, I don't know if I have an ideal situation. I think right now we have a bunch of guys battling, to play. And I think there's a bunch of guys who deserve to play in that room right now.
So last year was the first year that you and just rest of college football had the headphones and the helmet of the quarterback or the middle linebacker. How do you evaluate that process just from your personal perspective?
Yeah, I think it was great. I mean, the communication that we could give to our players on both sides of the ball was huge. The ability to practice and have the coordinators constantly talking, or for us, our linebacker coach, run game coordinator, Coach Coop, always talking to the linebacker and kind of get on the same page, like, hey, cut split, what's our alert? Right, for us, it's like, hey, boundary safeties alignment, what's our alert for an offense or the nickel, whatever that is in the play. It's just good for our guys to constantly hear that every single practice, because then in a game it's more natural for them.
Are there any conclusions that you're trying to implement in the spring based on that experience last year?
No, I thought we did a good job of it last year. I thought we used it to our advantage. I thought it was a strength. One of the hidden strengths was how we used it, how we practiced with it. So I think we're just trying to continue to build. And yeah, we may build upon it a little bit and rely on it a little more now that we're more comfortable with it.
How do you think about Anthony Cooper, the way he's progressed and grown after not playing last season?
Yeah, I mean, you can see him back out there. I mean, back with it. I mean, this is his 7th year of college football. So, it's fun to see him out there and competing again.
Coach, what do you think about playing on a maroon football field?
Yeah, it's funny. My wife texted me this morning. She's like, no. Oh, April Fools. And she absolutely hates it. So, and I agree with her. That's atrocious. Right? We don't need that field. Maybe a practice field. Maybe we'll get maroon practice fields.
Do you play any April Fool's jokes on your players at all? Or?
I don't. I think it's impossible, right? Everybody knows it's April Fools. So how do you play a joke on the one day where everybody's playing jokes, right? I'd rather play the joke on a day that's random, like on a random Wednesday, than on April Fool's Day. So yeah, I don't really do anything on April Fools. That was our creative team. So
I know maybe last year. I mean the offense you weren't necessarily super pleased with today, but a year ago to now, what would you say is the biggest change in how this team's looked?
Yeah, well, I think we're bigger across the board. I think we're a bigger football team. Obviously, we have a quarterback who we know who the quarterback is, who takes control, right? So we have a natural leader at the quarterback position. So I think the biggest deal is, our quarterback's established, and then we have, an established wideout who's not going right now. But I think we have some key elements where we know we want to be and how we want the offense to look. Whereas last year it was complete, what are we going to be? I think now it's way more, we know for the most part how we're going to look or what we want it to look like. So let's double down on the things we know we're going to be.
How good does this tight end group look between Kamari Anderson, AJ New? You have an all-conference guy back.
Really good. I mean, Coach Munz has done a phenomenal job. with this room. Not only are they really good, freakish talents, they're really good kids, really intelligent, and they care, and they can all block people. That's the one thing. I mean, if you come here, you know, you're gonna block people. I don't care if you play wide out, running back, tight end. You're gonna block people. If you play defense, you're gonna hit people. Right? There are no cute positions. Right? This game is not a cute game. Right? It's a physically tough game. So all those guys are big specimen who will block you.
Coach, when NFL scouts call you this time of the year and ask you about Cam, what do you tell them?
Tell him you want to draft him. Simple as this is, do you want to play him? No. He can do so many things that if you're a team that moves a guy around, if you're a team that relies on matchups and truly looks for matchups, he's a nightmare. Because you can line him up at running back, you can line him up in the slot, you can line him up as the number one receiver, you can line him up in a wildcat quarterback, he can run the ball in short yardage downs. Like, he can do so many things for you that his versatility is such a weapon. And he's so intelligent that he can do it all. So what I tell people is, you're either going to be playing him and you're going to say, dang, I have to play him, or you're going to draft him. And people can look at measurables, they can look at speed, great. You know, 10th of a second, cool. That's how I view it. Football players, he's a football player.
You just tell them to turn on the Texas game?
No, I just tell him, watch every single play. Dude plays with such a passion, such an aggressiveness, such great contact balance. His short area quickness is elite. His vertical jump shows his power he has, which is why he has the contact balance. When everything checks out, it's not like, oh, does he really have the contact balance? It's all the things that show his athleticism have checked out. And when he ran a time, that's what everybody thought he was going to run. So I think people should judge him off his tape. And if you judge him off his tape, you don't want to play him.
Is the leadership council set already?
No. We have a temporary council right now, basically based off of guys leaving in position groups that we need to add guys to. That'll get voted on after the spring by the team.
You guys good?
Yep.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.